to attack up our next steep little slope, and you can see constantly trying to dig in to get into our breakaway.
This is Bergador again for Total Energies. I think everybody knows this is a good breakaway, and all the time you're trying to get riders coming across it. Every wee uphill section, rails at the back there, Foss, as you know, is that pass share this time for Groupama, trying to go with this one. So, you know, they've already tried with different riders, but good effort here from Bergador, but on your own. Well, he went on the attack, and the others couldn't follow. So, a lot of tired legs back there, but it's going to be a huge effort if he's going to make this over. 22 seconds on his own. His legs are already burning, and, you know, he's on his own, which means that no one else to help him, while the riders in front will continue to ride, just kind of through and off.
Let's hear from Total Energies. We need to react. Let's lift the level of commitment. We can't miss out today. We need to exploit this opportunity. That is what the Total Energies car is saying. And that's it. But you've got to as well, you know, in this situation, it's as a, you know, you've got to be with these moves when they go as well. That's where as well you know, you want that team is found. Don't miss out on this one. It's being there when they go as well, isn't it?
Look, that frustrated me as well, because I was the sort of rider that I was very good at analysing what groups to go with. I never used to attack a lot. I used to just follow. We heard from in his Grenadiers, just follow, try and pick out the moves. That's what I used to. I used to use others to my advantage. I never really kind of attacked a lot kind of on my own. Okay, in the final of a race, you have to kind of look at attacking, but initially to get yourself in that breakaway is a little bit different. But we've got Bergador now stuck in the middle of this gap, and it's okay when you make a big effort, right? It's maintaining that effort now, and I'm afraid that unless Bergador has got super legs, I don't think he's coming across.
Our breakaway, still 100% commitment to trying to get away on stage 6 of the Tour de France. Bergador of Total Energies trying to get across. Mathieu Bergador up to try and get up to this leading group. That man there in the grey colours of Alpecin de Koenig is trying to ride himself.
سلام لكلكم كبرات اخوات ابتحت لكم سلام تنا لكم عندنا ميشتي كما يكم دول كنتات ارزي كم بيكون بقى لايك نكبر اي نكمل لايك اندا جبرنا نوتو حدثين اوصلنا سبسكرايب كلكم تابعونا جيفنا سب سنقلات اندا خلصنا الناس بدنا نقول لنا ስለዚህ ንተሓጋገ እخوات ተማ ሰብስክራይብ አድርጉ እኛም ግርማይ በሰሙት ደቂቃ 37 ሰከንድ ሲመርሊ ኢላን መስሉው አብደረዊቲ ቪዲዮ ላይ እንደለው ከን ክሊክ ግሩፕ 38 ሰከንድ 11 ሰከንድ ባላሊያና ነው ካታቀም ግሩፕ ማለት ስለዚህ አለው ተመካና ወንቱ ምሱ ከምዚ መስላሎቲ ናይ ቢኒያም ኩነታ ሶ ዝጎን ሕድሽ ነገር እንተሕዳሎ አፕዴት ክንገብረኩም ኢና ሰማይ ንቀድም ንፊት
and yeah, not to spend too much energy maybe, and we see if we can hold on to yellow or not, and yeah, we go by the flow.
What do you prefer, a big break goes or sprinting on a punchy finish against Mathieu and Jonas again?
I would prefer sprinting against the best guys in the end, but yeah, the priority is the whole Tour de France. So yeah, we will see.
Have a good one, Sari.
Thank you.
ድምፂ ክስማዕ ኣይፀንዐን ሕጂ ይስማዕ ኣለኹ ዶ ቴክስት ግበርሉ ሓበሬታ ክህብ ድምፂ ይስማዕ ኣሎ ሕጂ ኦኬ ቢንያም ግርማይ ብ8 ደቂቃን 37 ሰከንድን ድሕረወይቲ ግሩፕ እዩ ደሎ كلايت جروب بربع ساعات سكند قدامي تدلا عباي جروب الله مالتي ميلان كيمرلين بسوم زلو ስለዚህ አገዳሲ ታን እናው ያዘላለው ማለት ሶ ሆፕሊ ሎሚ ጽበቅ ወጥዩ መሳና ከተሊያ አብዝባን
just hold them there, probably bring them back. I really thought that this was going to be a good day today, and I think most people thought that. But the way that everybody's riding at the moment means that it could come down to another Pogacar show.
It could indeed. The gap just going over a minute, 9:05 to the green jersey group. There's time still though for this as it's calmed down for that breakaway to go to the 4 minutes plus, or do you now feel that Pogacar feels that controlling this as a minute? As you said, if he wants another stage and this stage is finished again, is perfect for him, that he's completely eliminating Van der Poel from the finish, because Mathieu is not going to be in the break all day and have the legs to sprint it at the end. And then the flip side of that is the rest of the breakaway, who also know that if they take Mathieu Van der Poel to the finish, he's going to win that. So the scenario now for the second half of this stage, kind of for Van der Poel, he's almost caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yes, he put himself in there, and he was hoping that potentially he could win from the breakaway. That's what he's thinking. He got himself in that breakaway when the strong riders were attacking, like Quinn Simmons and Ben Healy and that. He thought, right, this looks as if it's going to be a breakaway day. I'm going to get myself in this breakaway and I'm going to win the stage from the breakaway. But he didn't know what else was going to happen. Look, it's a real strong breakaway, you have to say. It's the riders that are in there are all in there. There's 8 of them. They're all in there with a view to, take the stage win. So, and very difficult to determine who is the favourites in that scenario. Just because Mathieu Van der Poel is better, kind of going up these hill finishes and things like that, and he's proven in this tour. But when you think of Simon Yates, Ben Healy, Quinn Simmons, Michael Storer, Eddie Dunbar, Will Barter and Harold de Hedder, I think they're all got a great chance of getting this stage win. Maybe going solo, maybe attacking, it come down to kind of tactical. Everybody knows if you take Van der Poel to the finish, you're gonna be beaten. So in their minds, they don't want to take Mathieu Van der Poel to the finish. So there's a situation here that I don't think for one reason. If I was in the breakaway, I wouldn't say Matthew Van Der Poel just drop back and let us fight out the stage one. Sometimes that is a scenario when you've got a guy close in the general classification. But it doesn't look that's going to make any difference. Even if Matthew Van Der Poel backs out this breakaway and comes back, I really do think that UAE team members are still going to ride.
That scenario, though, for Matthew Van Der Poel and him only being a minute and 28 seconds down, Mathieu would say himself that he, in terms of, and this is what we love about a 3-week stage race, and this is what we love about cycling and the different riders that we had. Mathieu Van Der Poel would say himself that he has got zero chance of getting over the high mountain. He would need to have an hour over the course of the big mountain stages to win the Tour de France overall. He knows in this, even if he gets yellow back, first mountain stage, he's likely to lose it unless he gets 10 minutes plus.
Yeah, of course he knows what his own capabilities are on the big high mountains. Like you say, he's going to lose an hour between all of the mountain stages, but he's in here to win, and he thinks this is his best chance of winning the stage today.
Yeah, and he wants that yellow jersey back. It's been great in the opening days for Mathieu Van Der Poel to be in that yellow jersey, in that maillot jaune. And the gap is 1 minute and 17 seconds. Brian's going to head off for a break. He will be back a little bit later on. The gap of minute 17 now from our breakaway group. We are over half distance today on our stage of over 200 kilometers. Just a touch over 201.5 kilometers. They had 5.2 kilometers of neutralized section. And Mathieu Van Der Poel, the highest placed rider in the break, 1 minute and 28 seconds down in 6th. Ben Healy is the next highest placed rider. He's 33rd at 7:37. Eddie Dunbar, 46th at 10:46. Simon Yates of his Melissa bike, he is 69th at 16 minutes and 11 seconds. Quinn Simmons of Lidl Trek is 94th at 22 minutes and 4. Harold Tejada is 125th at 26 minutes and 3 seconds. Michael Storer is 173rd at 35:57. And then Will Barter is 175th at 37 minutes and 11 seconds. There is the Mini Supporters Club here today on stage 6 of the Tour de France. I'm joined by Jonathan Harris-Bass. He's going to come in and do a little shift with us. That's what the Tour de France is all about, isn't it, John? Having all the little ones outside the nursery there coming to watch the Tour goes past.
Oh, it is. It's what a stage that they have. I hope they've been watching it on a screen before coming to the roadside to watch it come through. Although I'm not sure that they would have been able to maybe access it for that long, and they would have wanted the publicity caravan to come past and give them lots of free things. But that has just been, I think, some of the most breathless racing, certainly that we've seen on this year's Tour. But for a number of years, we've seen stages like this. I did say in my introduction that I expected fireworks. I don't think even I expected a firework display to last almost 100 kilometres.
No, I mean, it's been New Year's Eve level fireworks today, isn't it? So we're talking, the start of the Olympic level fireworks. It's been relentless, and it is that when you look at the scenario, when you put that green jersey sprint early on in the day, and as soon as into Marche Wanty set out their stall. And got on the front, and then Lidl Trek got involved as well. It just set things up for this scenario, but all day. And it's why you get, when you look at, Jacques Anquetil coming, from the north, when you look at Guillaume Martin, who's a great climber, Kevin Vauquelin, in women's cycling, you've now got Marion Bunel, who's one of the best. It's this savage, relentless climb after climb after climb, which just is just brutal.
It really is brutal. And I mean, at the start of the day, when Hannah was introducing it, over 3,500 meters of climbing today, and you look at the parkour and you just think that just looks unlikely. And as Jens has been saying on the bike, it is just relentless and up and down, and the climbs are so much harder than they look from the screen. So I mean, one has to really say kudos, especially I feel, to Healy and Simmons, because they've been in every attack. They've gone for it, and they've managed to get in the one that stuck.
The gap going out to 1 minute and 29 seconds. Neil Spollick didn't like that one from the fan at the side. Just made it known to the lad as he went past. The gap now, it's starting to put Mathieu van der Poel into the virtual lead by a second here and there. It's just yo-yoing at the moment. See Remco Evenepoel moving up in that white jersey with the gold helmet. And Jono, Remco's performance yesterday in the individual.
Did you see the stat that it's the first ever time that stages have been won in succession by world champions? So wearing the rainbow stripes. So winning the stage 2 days ago in the rainbow stripes, and then yesterday Remco winning it in the rainbow stripes and I just think that's in itself is an extraordinary statistic. But yeah, Remco is an incredible athlete. He rose to the pressure. He went out in conditions, as we saw with some of those who struggled with them. The headwind in the first part of the course yesterday was much harder than it had been earlier on in the day. And he still managed to tame those conditions and come home out in front. It was a remarkable performance.
Joining us today, so you've got Ben Healy over here for Education Easy Post, Mathieu van der Poel in the grey there from Alpecin to Koenig, looking to try and get the yellow jersey back today. Harold Tejada from XDS Astana, Will Barter of Movistar, Quinn Simmons, Captain America as he's being affectionately called now from Lidl Trek, Eddie Dunbar of Jayco Alula, Simon Yates of Visma Lisa Bike, and Michael Storer of Tudor Pro Cycling. And we did speak to their DS before the day started. He said he wanted riders in the break. Let's though go and hear from Jens Vogt on the bike.
Finally, we got permission to pass the peloton. So that is the end of the leftover of the riders in the peloton. It's maybe close to 80 riders left here. The rest is all dropped behind. So, Team UAE riding tempo, the team of Tadej Pogačar in the yellow jersey riding tempo, looking good, looking strong. They did not have to work too much so far. And from what I feel, what I believe, and I talked to Machine in the team car, their sport director, they are willing to let the jersey go. They don't want to break the team by chasing it at all costs. I believe they give the yellow jersey to Mathieu van der Poel today. And I'm chasing the breakaway. Pass it back to you, commentator.
Thanks, Jens. Good to hear that he's gone and spoken to Match in there, and there is that scenario there, Jono, that they are happy to let this jersey go.
Well, Jens was actually set that as homework by Rob Hatch. Rob, I did specifically asked him when he was out on the bike earlier. He said, I want you to go and do some homework for me. And Jens has got the answers for us. So I don't think it's too shocking to hear that they're satisfied that they're happy to let the yellow jersey go back to Mathieu van der Poel because they won't obviously see him as a threat come the mountains. But it's looking at those statistics. So does Tadej Pogačar, does he worry about things like the fact that Eddie Merckx had the yellow jersey for 96 days, and does he think that
حبايب صبغنا خير لنا فرصة لايك نجبرنا توم نجبرنا شو عدميتي شو ممكن نسمع كلنا يتسبات راي لايك جرنا لنا شو نتحقق لايك نجبر سبت إكتب كم تتمال زنبرنا جزاء تعمل بعبان رأي كم زمان ربحي يقولون الفيديو زي تمال ريهم كم دمسيسه أري حدا دقي دمسيسه سلاز قدر دمسيسه لنا زي دمسيسه كا أنا الله دمسيسه سلاز لهم الفيديو زي زمان ربحي يقولون تاو شو سبسكرايب تجربون اسمعوا بو انتو كملوا مثلا المزي channel هذا نجارات مالتي شو أجيال الحاجة سبسكرايب بقولوا شو كل زيادة بخنا نحنا زيادة أنا كل ريسك عادينا بس أبزرنا صوتا ما يكون فرنسي بدري محاولة كيف مالتي إذا ما تكونوا علىهم يقولون ما تقدر يجلس تسكروا لهم ورسان الحاجة لايك نقول سبسكرايب نقول نبغى نسوي يدمتي يغني لي خسر
parkour as well, that yesterday's individual time trial that really suited him. Eddie Dunbar back to his team car. Our breakaway is settling. Minute 21, just over 10 minutes to the green jersey. Just listening there in to see if we could hear what Eddie Dunbar was saying. We saw Ben Healy as well. You got a nice close up of him with the ice down the back of his neck. Also grabbing an energy gel. Looked like a bit of a slushy as well. They keep them cool as well. There's a lot of sports science that goes into the nutrition and the cooling and everything that just keeps the riders moving. Talking of food, John, and we as the break has settled now and the race has settled, you promised us a recipe because the viewers asked and you duly delivered the other day.
Well, I actually because we got a little bit of time here. Very interesting. It is fascinating to me how they're not giving it that much. It's only a minute and 20 seconds this breakaway at the moment, and when you look at the final part of today's stage with the climbs that we're going to have to take on, well, that they're going to have to take on, I'm just wondering whether Pogačar's actually going to give up the yellow jersey. I'll wait and see. But back to food. And the food that I prepared yesterday was a Norman cod dish, which I'm served with some samphire. And today I did moule marinière. So both of those recipes, I mean, I can talk you through the process if you'd like me to.
Why not?
So first, you either get them from a fishmonger. I would prefer, get them fresh rather than frozen. Absolutely. Scrub them, de-beard them, which means getting rid of the sort of the wispy beard, like 50 centilitres of white wine, some garlic, potatoes, Maris pipers, I think make your best chips. And really, you just put your mussels in a bowl of cold water, you smash the garlic, whack them into a pan.
ميلان بميتن حسر تبتن كنما يمرحلو إيام بميتن تتن كلا يالو وقع سب تسعة فعدن سلسة يالو مالتي سو الذي أبديت كيبرو ميلي عمون قاعدين عسر تقريبا عسر 14 سكند تفلي مالو مع الدنيا حتى كنما يبجلن خبر 9 كيلو متر يفيد له ين عايز له خبر ادفرتايز ناتو ميزي شجر يبلو ورسا تحجاجز سبسكرايب نقدر لايك نقدر شوفوا تقدروا لهم لايك تقدروا لهم 277 لايك جرنا لنا ورساتهم استرفنا الحساب مسكين 300 تسبب حساب لايك نقدر لوني تنركبها هنا هنا 10 دقائق 9 كيلومتر نورمال 10 دقائق ورسابو ጉዳይና ፎከስ እንዳገበርና ኢድና ንስደት ግን ኢድና ላይክ እንዳገበርና ነው ባንደርኩ ላይ ኮነን በቆጋቻ ተስልሱ አልተናለ ባንደርኩ ሰማና አይደለም መስለኝ هو كم تلمد موسى رغب ايتنم ها ادفرتايز ناتو مين ابتيغا كم ترى كاد اغينا نب ساشو let's go لسنالو انا خانا بنكون نسيت
Your chance. Take it. This is what we train for. Now show them who you are.
Carving through twisters, nailing the perfect landing, leaning into every corner. There's no feeling like it. Dunlop tyres deliver outstanding grip and protection. More freedom, more adventure, more exhilaration. Just ride.
Got a bike? Then it's ready to Zwift. Just grab a Zwift Ready trainer with Zwift Cog. It's ready for everyone, even this guy. Zwift Ready trainers with Zwift Cog. Ready to ride and ready to Zwift.
Beautiful shots around Normandy today. You're watching stage 6 of the Tour de France, 201.5 kilometers from Bayeux to Via Normandy today. It comes the day after our individual time trial where we saw Tadej Pogačar ride back into the Maillot Jaune, back into the yellow jersey. And today's stage, 3,550 meters of elevation throughout today's stage. Minute and 30 is the gap from our breakaway to the peloton. It does mean that Mathieu van der Poel is now back into the virtual race lead here in the Tour de France by a couple of seconds. And if you're new to cycling, that just means that if we stop right now, this man would be back into the yellow jersey of race leader. And we just see Christoph Roodhoff there, just having a word with Mathieu van der Poel. And this is the scenario, Jono, that we wanted today, and it was interesting to. I don't know if you got Mathieu van der Poel's interview early on, but it was great to get his insight on how he felt this one was going, and that's what's been really interesting to watch him just play out what he basically said this morning.
I haven't actually heard his interview earlier on today, so it is good to see that it's playing out as he expected. I mean, in that frenetic sort of hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes that this day started with, just some of the characters who were involved in getting up the road. There was that moment when you had Wout van Aert and Julian Alaphilippe attacking, then Wout van Aert attacked with Pablo Castillo, and still it didn't stay away. And as I've said already, it is testament to the timing of Healy and Simmons that they've managed to stay away. But it was that intuition of Van der Poel. He picked the one that he thought was going to go away. So he wasn't involved. The only time he's got into the breakaway is the group that he's now in. He joined up with that, and that happened to be the group that has stayed away. So again, it's this extraordinary racing instinct that he has. You've got the likes of Tejada and Barta there as well, with Dunbar, Yates and Storer. But they're a very, very strong group. But still behind, although riding tempo, UAE are not. They're not letting it go away to sort of 2 minutes or 3 minutes. They're just keeping it in check. The group that I'm more interested in is that green jersey group, containing a number of riders who just found the going way too hard in that hour and 45 minute period. And most of them were involved from Wanty, some from Lidl Trekking, including the man in the green jersey at the moment, Jonathan Milan, who are really, well, they've managed to hold it together at 10 minutes, but my word, that's going to be an energy sapping day for them, and a real struggle.
Yeah, it is indeed. We'll just get a little close up there of Mathieu van der Poel. You wonder what the director sportif, Christophe Roodhoft, was saying there to Mathieu van der Poel. And because at the moment, looking at this one, this gap is closable for that group behind if it doesn't head out in excess of the sort of 2 minutes up to that 3 minute mark. The next objective along the route, we're around 20 kilometres away from our next King of the Mountains of the day, the Côte de Mortagne, which is a Category 3 climb, 1.6 kilometres in length, averaging 9.5%. That will be the next climb, and then after that, the next categorised climb, the Côte de Juvigny-la-Tertre, that will be the climb after that. Just getting a little visual here of the bike of Movistar. They're on the Canyon Aeroad CFR. They're on SRAM Red, ETAP, AXS, Quark Power Meters, Zip Wheels, Continental Tyres and Physique Saddles. That is the bike of Movistar. You got two Canyon sponsored teams in this break with Movistar and the team of Alpecin de Koenig. And Mathieu van der Poel, a lot of work with his bike sponsors over the years, especially when he moved over to them in cyclocross. The gap out for 1:43, so the gap for Mathieu van der Poel in his quest to get that yellow jersey back is looking good here today. Jonas Vingegaard wearing the polka dot jersey and King of the Mountains. As I said, we're about 20 kilometres away from our next climb. The first climb of the day, Quinn Simmons is now our virtual King of the Mountains on the road. He took 2 points at the top of the Côte de l'Arc-en-Nier with 145.5 to go. Quinn Simmons, though, Jono, making it into this breakaway group, you'd say that the Americans got designs on that polka dot jersey at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think so. But I think first and foremost for him, it's going to be that this was a stage that he's going to target for the stage win, and hope that's something he can do. I mean, every single one of the riders involved in that group will think that they can win, but the only thing that they will be conscious of, I guess, with Mathieu van der Poel there is not towing him into the finish, because in a straight-up sprint, he's probably going to win. But there are plenty of opportunities, as you just said, by dimensioning all of those climbs that we've got coming within the last 60 kilometres. Plenty of springboards to go and attack again.
These sort of days though as well are real levelers as well when it comes to a finish. I mean, we know what Mathieu van der Poel can do at the end of the classics, at the end of Milan-San Remo, Ronde van Vlaanderen, Paris-Roubaix, but 3,500 meters of climbing in 201.5 kilometers as well. It can be a real leveler. We know sort of historically what Ben Healy's like. We know that coming in towards the finish of those climbs, there'll be a point where Ben Healy knows he needs to go. You would look as well, Simon Yates is probably going to want to get away and try and finish this one on his own as well. So I think the scenario now over this, if this breakaway can take itself all the way to the finish, is going to be a really interesting one. And our steep climb up towards the finish, you see Niels Pollitt just having a look here at what he's got in his pocket. It's just really interesting to see Niels Pollitt there, just checking out what he's got in his hand, what gel or what bar he's got in his hand there, and it just as well shows that a lot of the time riders are kind of plan in terms of in which order they like to try and get their feeding sometimes.
That gap between the breakaway and peloton now out to nearly 2 minutes, still going along at a ferocious rate.
It is. See, they probably want to push this out. For UAE, if as Jens went and spoke to Matt to the team car behind, for them, this is they can let this go. I mean, they can give this breakaway. They can give this break 4 minutes. If they're looking to just, they can give it more. If they're looking to preserve energy today as the back end of this stage goes on, it's just, right in towards the finish. There's no threat to the general classification in Paris in this race. Yeah, they might give the yellow jersey away, and they've said that they'll be happy to do that. So I think this is going to build as we go. I love a bit of animated.
Celebrate the Manche Département, which is where we are, which is the leading agricultural department within France, which I had no idea about. I would have actually pumped for something a little further south, but the Manche, which is famous for having the Cherbourg Peninsula within it, is well known for livestock as we've just seen, with cattle, sheep and horses, a winking cow, and then fruit. Lots of apples growing up here, which is the reason that the Normandy and the Breton border are so famous for its cider. And carrots, leeks and cauliflowers, apparently also the most common vegetables that are...
They have. The fans are out in force here in the Tour de France. We have had great crowds with 78.2 kilometers to go as the gap starts to... Mathieu van der Poel just having a stretch. We see him do this a lot on long days like this, stretching out his back. And just when you're sitting in this position for a long time on a really hot day, and you can see the salt on his jersey, and down through his shorts. It's just keeping yourself as comfortable, keeping yourself hydrated. He wants the opportunity today to take this one. I mean, we talk about the scenario of not wanting to take Van der Poel to the finish. Mathieu Van der Poel as well. When you look at the way he attacks the classics, there may be that point if they start attacking him where they don't have a choice if he starts attacking them in return to want to try and do what do in the classics to ride in alone.
Absolutely right, and he, I'm sure, will have missed when the tour route was published. Definitely, I think a lot of people expected him to target the Tour de Bretagne again, and after winning there in 2021, they could be forgiven for thinking that. But actually, this stage probably suits him better.
Indeed. That Tour de Bretagne stage as well. Niels Pollitt is working on the front here. You've got the team of Soudal Quickstep of Remco Evenepoel right behind him, and Remco moving up in the classification yesterday to second place at 4. And now seeing the team of the second place rider on the general classification up towards the front. Visma Lisa Bike placing Simon Yates into that breakaway, and it's a sort of move that you would expect there from Simon.
كمايل يا رلا قداي 17 كيلومتر تعرف له جاب مانغو سايمون يتسن دينيامن ميدانن زنوا بجله يحسر بدغن 4 سكند اللي يالو لا كمايل يا رلا 10 دقيقة 4 سكند سو 75 كيلومتر تعرف له فرصاتهم مثل لنا لايك እንዳገበርና ثم عدسنا زغزغا صح نقدر نتجزا نقول نفصل نقاط نقول من سوقني تقول حدش ነገር ተሎ አፕዴት ከገበርክ መለሰው
is we know what Jonas is going to want to do, can do in the high mountains. We've got our first mountain stage that comes on stage 10. It's not the big ones that we've got to come, and we would go to Le Mans d'Or, and then to I think stage you've got to rely on him as well. We go to Hautecam on stage 12. That's going to be, we think, the first, I mean, we say first big showdown, but we've already had plenty of them so far as well.
There's nothing like summer in New York City. Something new and unexpected always awaits. Oh my God! And when the plot twists, we can choose to embrace a new chapter.
Really sorry.
Apology accepted.
I'm gonna go now.
advertise anatomy بزح የተሻለ ደግሞ advertise anatomy ነው ነው بزح አይመረበሽ እዚህ ወደ አይመስልም ናፍቃለ ደስገርና ኩንታይ መስሎት እንት ደሬ advertise አለ ማለት ለበሰል ጉዳይ ጽምዶን ጉዳይ ካለን አንጣለለ
This is your chance. Take it.
Es hat einen schönen See, es hat eine Lädeli-Strasse, es hat Museen, es hat wirklich so viel rundherum, es ist so divers, es hat einfach alles. Dass die UEFA Women's Euro 25 in der Schweiz stattfindet, finde ich natürlich extrem schön. Natürlich ist es umso schöner, können vor der Familie und Freunden zu spielen und wir freuen uns natürlich alle auf das große Ereignis.
We are the ones who wake up at dawn. We are the ones who prepare digital accounting coin, created especially for cyclists. Get the Imatra app and earn money for every kilometer. Imatra is Garmin connected.
When you invest with eToro, you start seeing investors everywhere.
You see, eToro really is everywhere.
Invest anytime, anywhere with eToro.
Stage 6 of the Tour de France. We're just having a chat about an interview that Ben O'Connor gave a few days ago about some 4 improvements that he feels would make cycling safer and reduce the crashes. So one of them was, so Jono put to me that one of them was taking the motorbikes away completely and filming the race with drones and just a helicopter. I don't think that's an option, but maybe reducing the number of overall motorbikes within the race. The smaller field, maybe, yeah. I mean, you know, we have much. I'm mainly the women's cycling commentator, and we do have smaller fields in women's cycling. Maybe reducing the size of the peloton. That's an interesting one. It's one that we could look at. Getting rid of computers and radios, I don't agree with, because I don't feel that it makes it. I don't feel that the sport is made safer by taking radios out of racing completely. We've seen that in the past as well, and the communication between the riders and the peloton is there, as well as from tactics, but also from reminding the riders of obstacles that are coming up. My good friend Danny Christmas, she's a sport director with the AG Insurance Sudal team, and she was telling me, you know, in a situation, she was coming down a mountain in a race, saw a rider go off the side of the road into down the side of the mountain and radioed straight away into the race to let them know that happened, because they weren't, you know, they were all stretched out and they were alone in that. So I'd say I wouldn't agree in that one. I think one of the main areas that we need to look at is finishes, and looking at the roads, the modern roads as we know, Jono, has changed. Roads have changed so much since the beginning of the Tour de France, because you only have to go through the route here and see how much road furniture that you're dealing with, and how, you know, the sort of traffic calming measures that we have in place. And you see them coming. We've seen them today going through corners where you've got raised little sections of cobblestones down the middle of the road. So I think we've got to make courses and routes safer, and it's looking at, okay, we want to finish in this particular place, but do we want a corner that's tight and 250 meters away from the finish, or can we move the finish back to a much safer location? And we do need to finish in cities. We can't, you know, that's what we've always done, isn't it? Is take the racing into the people, and you don't want to take that away and finish further out of cities. So it is at the moment, there's so many questions and scenarios, isn't there, floating around in terms of how do we make cycling safer? And they're saying, okay, we're going to limit the width of the handlebars, we're going to reduce gear, we're going to restrict gearing and that kind of thing as well. And bikes have changed, technology's changed, riders are going faster because bikes are more aerodynamic, and, you know, sports science has changed things, nutrition has changed things. So there's so many different scenarios that could play out. But it is interesting to get Ben O'Connor's view of that. What do you feel?
I don't think I'm glad that the conversation is being opened. I think Ben O'Connor would be a fantastic spokesperson for the peloton, because I think he is an incredibly eloquent individual. I feel, unfortunately, that you've answered superbly, and I think those are the answers that will come back. The one that I don't think the Tour would ever consider making the field smaller. I think that when they reduced team size to 8 rather than 9 riders, I think that was enough of a sacrifice, and they will want the number of sponsors involved, so they would want the same number of teams, and they're not going to reduce the size of teams. And I feel, I've said on air several times during this tour, I feel that the Tour is, at the moment, it's sort of it's a beast that's a bit out of control with its growth, and I think that's been reflected in the starts and riders struggling to get to the starts on a couple of occasions. So I do agree that the route needs to be looked at, and some of the road furniture we've seen on this particular route, definitely you question how on earth it got past muster.
Guys, for the moment, go with your pace. And for us, it's okay like this. We don't need to push too much.
UAE team car, and he's sitting at 46k now. The gap to the green jersey is 11:04, and that is playing on the front. And yeah, Jono, I completely agree with you there in terms of you know, it is the big beast, isn't it? The Tour de France is it's the biggest race of the year, and everyone wants to win. And everyone wants to succeed. It's so important for the sponsors. Let's go and hear from Hannah Walker.
Into the third climb of the day, and it's a really fast descent into the base of the climb itself. It's fast, it's narrow in parts, positioning is a short climb. It's only just over 1.6 kilometers long with an average gradient of just over 9%, but there's some real steep gradients. You wind your way up into the center of the village, and then when you take a left turn on the Rue de Versailles, that's where the climb really rears up once again. It brings you onto this part of the course, and you're only a couple of hundred meters now from the top of the King of the Mountain itself. It's brutal, it's unforgiving, it's real typical roads here in Normandy. But just take a look at all of the road art that has been painted, the support for Tadej Pogačar, Mathieu van der Poel, Kevin Vauquelin, the amount of flags, the amount of banners that are here for the young Frenchman is exceptional. The crowds are waiting, it's anticipating for the race to arrive.
Hannah's out there on the course. You can see our team sporting their Superman T-shirts out on the Tour de France today. That is in celebration of the new Superman film, which comes out very, very soon. So that's the reason why they're all wearing their Superman t-shirts out there today. We are on the Côte de Montagne Côte, 2 kilometers in length. It is our next King of the Mountains along the routes, 1.6 kilometers, averaging 9.5%. And we expect that man there, Quinn Simmons, in the Stars and Stripes jersey, to look to try and take some King of the Mountains points at the top of this one, if we can. This, though, Jono, I know you're going to leave us soon, but this one is looking good for the breakaway now.
Yeah, as we expected, the breakaway would get away. I was just quite surprised in the initial exchanges, once they'd been allowed to go, that there wasn't a greater slowdown from the chasing peloton. But actually now stretching out to around 3 minutes, as you've said quite correctly, Martin, they could let it go up to 4. They're not going to be concerned. There is no one in that group that they're going to be worried about when it comes to the yellow jersey battle that will ensue over the next couple of weeks. So it should be much of the ball going back into yellow. The big question is it going to be another stage?
Wicked. Looking at the way he's riding in this one, it's been quite a tour for him so far, and it moved far. And he sort of burst onto the scene and took that first Tour de France stage win. He wore he wore the yellow jersey. He had 6 career days in the Tour de France in yellow before he came into this race. And it was, when you look at that, for him, it must have been a massive sigh of relief when he finally got that Tour de France stage winning form back into yellow for him coming into this year's Tour. Two minutes and 53 seconds. Tadej Pogačar looking cool, calm and collected in the maillot jaune, and it will just take for Tadej. It'll take the pressure off him as well in terms of if they breakaway can go all the way to the finish like this, and Mathieu goes back into yellow. Back to our breakaway, 1.7 kilometers to go to the top. Côte de Montagne Côte, 1.6 kilometers in length. Simmons on the front here, looking for maximum points at the top. Jono, I think you're going to head off now, so we will see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, Marty. Thank you very much. That's been a joy.
This race, the gap has been bouncing backwards and forwards like a kangaroo today, and the gap has finally stretched. It's finally gone out, and Mathieu van der Poel, the way he talked up his chances this morning of going back into the maillot jaune, are looking much more likely. But the rest of this breakaway group, they will know the presence of the Dutchman in this one. They will want to, as this stage goes on, try to get clear. The man in grey, the rainbow cuffs on his jersey. They'll know he's got the firepower to take this one, and if they take him all the way to the finish, it's likely that he's going to take the stage victory. The road just ramps up here. 8%. You can see how steep and just stretching this one out. Simon Yates keeping the pressure on. It's a category 3 climb, the Côte de Montagne Côte. 2 at the top of the climb. You can see this chasing group, just how reduced in number it has been. That's the road, just 8% to the top of the climb. So far today, the points. He was Quinn Simmons a few points ahead of Mark Hirsch, Tim Wellens. With a win on the Côte d'Orge-Connière, the Côte de Montagne Côte. Can he some more points? Will it be Ben Healy? There is 2 and 1 points on offer on this climb, the Côte de Juilly-le-Tertre. The next climb along the route, 2 and 1 respectively there, and then the final climb of the day, the 4 kilometers to go. Tom Squinch up towards the front, Victor Campenuts in the center, just helping to control things for the team of his Melissa bike. Niels Pollitt, who's had the instructions from the director sportif in the car behind that he doesn't have to push this one. Julien Alaphilippe here, just towards the back for Tudor Pro Cycling. Tried to get away earlier on today. For him, just needs the lock to fall as well for Julien Alaphilippe for what he would want in this race, a stage victory for the Tudor Pro Cycling team. 350 meters to the top. Healy, Simmons, Van der Poel is the order now as we look towards the King of the Mountains points at the top. Van der Poel keeping the pressure on to keep this breakaway together. Healy, as we hit the 12% slopes towards the top of the climb. But Simmons is poised and ready. So Quinn Simmons could put himself in up to 4 points in the King of the Mountains with a victory at the top here. Look at the crowds though in this natural amphitheatre that we've got on this climb. It just drops a touch to 5%. As we start the sprint, and it's Eddie Dunbar that goes for the points at the top. Dunbar sprints away, and it looks like it's going to be an Irish 1-2 over the top of the Côte de Montagne. So Dunbar takes the 2, Healy takes the 1. So it sets things up. You can see that Quinn Simmons just didn't have the legs to sprint for the top. Campenarts keeping that rhythm. And then behind, alongside him, Raul Garcia Piana in the red and black of our Airbnb hotels. He tried to get into the breakaway later on today. He was in one of our counter moves. There were off the front, 63.1 kilometers ago. Brian Smith is back better.
We've had the information from the car. They don't want to go into the reds. It's a long race, and at one point they were, I think, just debating. I think now Quinn Simmons would normally have gone for those points. I think he's saving as much as he can for a potential stage win. Definitely a stage win is up for grabs for any of the 8 riders in this breakaway. I don't think it's a given that Mathieu van der Poel is going to win this one today. I think he's going to find it very tough, because if I was in this breakaway, then he would be the man that I wouldn't want to help or support on the attack. I'd turn around to him and go, well, it's up to you. But then he's got the cards where he'll say, well, I've already won this stage. It's up to you. So we'll see in the front. But one thing is for sure is he's making big inroads into the green jersey. He's going to get good points today. He's already had second in the intermediate sprints, so he's gaining some real good points here. Yeah. But looking at the guys here, this uphill, Eddie Dunbar, Tejeda, you know, they've all got a bit of a kind of punch when it comes to uphill finishes. But the one common factor that each of these individuals, the 7 individuals that are in front, finish, and that's the problem that Mathieu van der Poel has got. Nobody will help him. He might be critical, and I really do. It's something that on a very tough stage like today, where it's been full on the whole day, this is going to become a very left in the legs at the end, because no one wants to help that target person. So that's why I think Quinn Simmons, I think he could have gone for the King of the Mountains. He was going for them earlier on, but great.
سلام محمد. لنا ده انتهينا بعزرت حد غير هذا لا يمكن تسعون سب لاي جيرنا لنا شو ممكن سبعة شعب ممكن شو سبعة لنا دار جالزي وسبعة لاي جيرنا نصوتهم أو تدلنا لايك نقول بيقولون لايك تمليسنا لايك مبارك الله هذا السبت ومشان ما نقصن به فرصة حاجة جالس سبعات يمكن غيرها أبو مسكني بداية سندون باقي برنا
today, because it's definitely, as well as you said, with looking at the firepower that we've got in that leading group, even if you're Mathieu van der Poel, this sort of stage where it's relentless up and down all day, it can still be a leveler, can't it?
It can be, after a big effort yesterday in the time trial as well, and the days previously, you got to remember he was in the red a couple of days ago when Pogacar beat him. He's had a tremendous start to the Tour de France. I don't think he could have dreamt of having this start and what suiting him tomorrow's stage as well. Very, very tough stages here in Normandy, and no one's going to ride with Van der Poel. He'll have to do the majority of the work come the final. He'll have to do that a lot. I would be the one thinking about it in this sort of scenario. He's trying to go first, and it's when you go. So if you go, then you're hoping everybody will just do what I'm telling you. It's up to Van der Poel to do it, and whether he's going to do it or not is another question, because he has a stage win. Looks as if he's going into green, going into yellow, and very, very successful day for him. So it's a difficult situation when you are the favourite in a group of 8 riders in front. When I say favourites, we've got Giro d'Italia winner in there. We've got the American champion. Don't discount Michael Storer as well. The way he came across that gap was good. I just think that the efforts that Simmons and Healy have already done today has been great, and I'm hoping now that they've saved a little bit. But Ben Healy's, I think, major attribute is going from distance. So I think Ben Healy will be the man that possibly will go early, and he might even go with 30 k's to go.
You took the words out of my mouth, because I was looking at the route, the Côte de Saint-Michel de Montjoie.
Yeah.
I think that's where, because there's a plateau over the top, isn't there? And I think because you want to keep Mathieu van der Poel with you for as long as possible. But I think that climb, the summit, with 27.2 to go into a plateau, I think that's where the breakaway will start to think about how they're going to start to act.
Will come in the end. It'll be a case of looking around and who's going to ride, who is riding, and Mathieu van der Poel's a big danger.
Stage 6 of the Tour de France, 201.5 kilometres from Bayeux to Via Norme yet again here in the Tour de France today. 201.5 kilometres. Our breakaway group, it took a long time to become established. Today we had our green jersey sprint early on in the stage, and with that, the draw of the green jersey competition coming just 22.2 kilometers into today's stage. Jonathan Milan taking maximum points on the first sprint, ahead of us after that, as the green jersey and the sprinters you can see who are now over 12 minutes down. But the man who was second in that sprint, Mathieu van der Poel, making it into this breakaway group. He goes in search of the maillot jaune again in this race. He passed that over after the time trial, for want of a better phrase, to Tadej Pogacar after yesterday's stage. Mathieu 1 minute and 28 seconds down on Tadej in the general classification. We've heard from Jens Vogt, we've heard from over the radio that UAE Emirates feel they're happy for this jersey to pass to Mathieu van der Poel.
They're not happy.
No, they're not happy, but they're content, or willing is perhaps the right word for that jersey to pass across to Mathieu van der Poel. 45.8 kilometers an hour is the average speed on today's stage 6 of the Tour de France. and our breakaway group. For those of you who are away on a commercial break, we were just talking about the scenarios that will play out from this breakaway group. You've got Mathieu van der Poel in here for the Alpecin Deceuninck team. 55 career wins, 3 victories in Paris-Roubaix, 2 in the Tour of Flanders. He's won Milan-San Remo. He's been world champion on the road in cyclocross. This is his stomping ground. This is his sort of terrain. We know that from Tour of Flanders and the classics that Mathieu van der Poel wins as well. We look at the breakaway, and we talk about the scenario of Ben Healy, of Simon Yates looking to go long in this one as well. Van der Poel may feel the same. You know, we've seen that, and he may want to almost anticipate in this stage today that they are going to start attacking him. And we've seen from Mathieu in the past, in the way he will sometimes approach these sort of situations and approach his racing, that the best form of defence is attack.
Yes, but he still wants to find as much time as possible in that yellow jersey. So if he starts this kind of negative riding, you can see now he's doing some longer turns at the fronts. I might put my neck in the line here and say that Mathieu van der Poel will not win the stage today.
Do you feel he's just riding for yellow again, to ride himself back into yellow?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest case there. You know, even if this had kind of stayed together and the GC guys had come to the end, he would still be the favourite. But at the end of the day, he's in this breakaway and he knows that everybody's gunning for him, and he wants to keep this rolling along. Nice to have a minute and a half. Nicer to have 2 minutes. Nicer to have 3 minutes. Because there's a long, long way to go, and he wants to try and kind of keep this jersey as long as possible. So I think, you know, from what I see of the breakaway, he seems to be pushing it. And that's what he'll do. He'll go and keep on riding as much as he can. I wouldn't say sacrifice the potential stage win, because you always want both, but I think both is going to be... Well, he's already got yellow, I think, come the end. To get both, you would have to start missing turns and ducking and diving, and I don't think he is doing that. The person that seems to be riding at the back is Simon Yates.
And we only have to look at the Giro, don't we, and know what a master tactician Yates is, especially in this sort of situation.
They're all thinking about it now, because as soon as that gap went up over 3 minutes, they're thinking, stage. Quinn Simmons, no, I'm not interested in the King of the Mountains jersey anymore. I'm not going to waste any energy going for that one. I'm going to look at the situation of a stage win. And, you know, to be honest here, the 2 riders of the day, I said it earlier on in commentary, that Quinn Simmons and Ben Healy have been done 2 exceptional performances today. I hope one of them pulls it off in the end, and but Tour de France is going to be difficult. But Simon Yates is not riding. Okay, he's waiting for his team car coming up here, but they're in with a good chance of a stage win.
I think what was interesting was the way that Simon Yates got himself into that break, and the way that Visma Leasebike were approaching this stage.
There's a few riders that have done the right. I'll start with the wrong ones. Guillaume Martin, maybe thinking more with his heart than his head. Possibly went at the wrong time. Never made it across. And then we saw earlier on that his teammate Madouas done exactly the same thing. With an effort from Bergado as well to try and get across to the breakaway, because everybody knew at that stage that the breakaway was forming in front with Simmons and Healy and Mathieu van der Poel, and you heard it in the radios as well that this was a good breakaway, and they had the legs to try and get across. And you could see some riders that were coming across. I think Eddie Dunbar, right time, and it's all about timing to get across. Storer, well, he used a couple of other riders to almost half the distance and then came across himself as well. So it was all about choices and using your head a little bit rather than just get out there and I want to get in that breakaway and attack off the front, blow everybody off your wheel and try and get there. So there are some riders possibly kicking themselves because I think by the looks of things they were capable of getting themselves in the breakaway, and I'm talking about the Olympic silver medalist Madouas and of course Gail Martin. But I just think that the situation got the better of them, and what I mean by that is they never kind of thought about it too much. They went out there and tried to do it more physically, and in the end they burned themselves and weren't able to get themselves in the breakaway. But there were a few riders, Marty, that tried their hardest time to get.
Guys, فرصة نجيب حسب كلنا لايك نقدر بحسب لايك نقدر سبك إكب ولا تدري قداي ناب خمسة تورد على كيلومتر فرصة سبك الإكبار وعنا قلنا دي لنا جلس لايك نقدر بحسب نتحقق جزء توم سبسكرايب يقدر نحن سبسكرايب نقبل سبسكرايب كل نقدر من غير نهاية لنا وكو لايك نقدر فرصة
Quinn Simmons, hand up just as he maybe just looking for the team car behind. Maybe needs a refresh. Michael Storek. It's our breakaway group. We've got 113 riders in that chasing group behind. And Simmons just looking for his team car. The Côte de Chauvigny-le-Tertre is the next climb along the route, 2.2 kilometres in length. And a lot of our climbs now, Brian, that come on the back end, there's lots of really steep little ramps on these next series of climbs.
Yeah, it's quite consistent with the region. You just look around, there's no big mountains, it's just rolling terrain. And the roads go over every one of these climbs, and it's not easy at all. Constant on the legs, making big efforts. It's been a really tough day, and tomorrow's not going to be any easier.
So apparently we've already climbed 2,592 meters so far today of the 3,550 that we've got. They say on their live ticker as well, 3,577 meters of elevation. It's currently sitting at just around 27.8 degrees Celsius for the riders today, and that in itself, the difference in temperatures that we've had in the opening days of this year's Tour de France as well. This is sort of the heat starting to build as well for the riders can also throw up different other challenges.
Of course, it takes its toll. A stage race. And that's why you have to look after the riders in the best possible way. That's why you try and kind of limit any exposure to anything at all. We saw it the other day with the King of the Mountains jersey swapping between teammates. Tim, you can do the podiums and all that sort of stuff because you're mixing with other people and all the time. So although these guys are highly tuned athletes, their immune system is, I've got an autoimmune problem myself with rheumatoid arthritis, but that's something that you really have to kind of watch. It's okay being highly tuned, but their immune system is very low because of this day in, day out. The bad weather doesn't help because it's not just because of the cold, Martin, the difference in temperatures and things like that. I can remember coming from a Scottish I think it was more a case for yellow, because it's like, these guys aren't daft. The UAE team, Emirates, worried about Matthew Van Der Poel in the grand scale of things come Paris. No, that was a very tough stage, very difficult to control. And by putting him in that situation, he's put himself in that position of gaining that yellow jersey again. He's only lost it for one day.
Yes, indeed. There's Melissa Bike through the centre of the peloton. UAE Emirates with Tadej Pogacar in that yellow jersey, not far away from the front. He's playing the long game in this year's Tour de France. You can tell that the way he's riding. Lenny Martinez towards the back there in the white and blue. Bahrain victorious. We're heading towards the finish in Villanomont. 43 kilometers to go.
Vara asta e mai simplu ca oricând să te bucuri și de răcoare, dar și de relaxare, fără să mai fie nevoie să alegi între ele. Ai 3 luni amânare la plată atunci când alegi soluția completă cu aer condiționat E.ON Cool, ca tu să...
Guys, كمان لنا guys. راي هو فين الكازران لو رضا سمعتنا يسال حدوي باي ذا واي ادفرتايز ناتوني مونغو ادفرتايز ناتوني غوبيا بمقصد كنجي تريو ودنكم صوتا عبر عن 1 كيلومتر كيدله 10 دقائق أنا تفرق لي قاب مالك 4 كيلومتر تمتحل له ومانغو ميلان بنيامين مرلين يزلا صرت قلت بقى ريزا مالو فرصة جايز لايك نقدر سبسكرايب نقدر نقدر عندها تسألنا نتسألنا ديسكريبشن هاتين نتسألنا فرصة أنا بقوم كمان سكني لايك جنا إنترسون عشان جنا سبعتي 4 سبراي لايك جرنا وايد جنكم كمان سلام تايك انتين كمان كلنا لايك تقدرنا فرصة جايز لايك نقدر نروح كمان سكني أدفرتايزهم نرى أنا بزح تزاني لايك لني حفاري هذا غتسل
so gut, weil es einfach alles hat in dieser Stadt. Es hat einen schönen See, es hat eine Lädeli-Strasse, es hat Museen, es hat wirklich so viel rundherum, es ist so divers, es hat einfach alles. Dass die UEFA Women's Euro 25 in der Schweiz stattfindet, finde ich natürlich extrem schön. Natürlich ist es umso schöner, vor der Familie und Freunden zu spielen, und wir freuen uns natürlich alle auf das große Ereignis.
Carving through twisters, nailing the perfect landing, leaning into every corner. There's no feeling like it. Dunlop tyres deliver outstanding grip and protection. More freedom, more adventure, more exhilaration. Just ride.
Got a bike? Then it's ready to Zwift. Just grab a Zwift Ready trainer with Zwift Cog. It's ready for everyone, even this guy. Zwift Ready trainers with Zwift Cog. Ready to ride and ready to Zwift.
It's the Irishman, 24 years old, Ben Healy. What a year he's had. 4th in Strada Bianchi. Stage win in Itzulia Basque Country. 5th at Flèche Wallonne. 3rd in Liège, Bastogne-Liège. And hunting now for his first Tour de France stage win. And 20 seconds is the gap. Has Healy timed this one to perfection? There we have it. Replay of the attack of Ben Healy. We thought they might stay together for a little bit longer, but the element of surprise, Brian, he took his chance there. That's about reading the road ahead of you perfectly.
The thing is, it's the ferociousness of the attack. Just telling the bike to get behind him. It's the ferociousness of the attack. If you're going to go all in, right, and then settle down. So he gets his gap very, very quickly. That kind of element of surprise. So it wasn't a kind of slight downhill. You can see, caked in salt marks, but that's not holding him back at all. He's just concentrating on a time trial performance now. He's hoping that the guys behind will just keep on swapping turns. The thing is, when we come to this climb with tops out at 27 to go, if it's still something like this, that's when we'll see the likes of maybe Dunbar and Simon Yates, Tejada, try and go across to him. So what these guys are doing behind is they're just swapping turns. Well, it's a different thing for Ben Healy. He has to do everything pretty much his own. Tries to follow that motorbike. Just try all these wee things to try and kind of help out. He's in his second Tour de France, and everybody wants to win a Tour de France stage. He's put himself right in the game. If he holds for the next 10 kilometres about 30 seconds, my biggest worry is then we're going to get 2 or 3 riders trying to go across. But for the moment, the others are just going to swap in turns behind him, and they're going to hold him at this distance.
And for Van der Poel, they've now the gap now for Ben Healy back to the peloton is over 4 minutes. For Van der Poel, he's now got to go all in to make sure that he builds as much time as he can for his yellow jersey.
Well, it's good for Van der Poel because everybody will want to chase, everybody will roll through. What will break down is someone starts to sit on the back, but that will not happen because in the team car they'll be saying, well, unless you ride, you aren't winning this stage. So if you start messing around at the back, Ben Healy's going to be disappearing down the road. So for the group of 7 riders behind, it's in all their best interest to keep on rolling through, and I think that's what they'll do. They're not overly committing to a full-on chase, but they're all rolling through because in their minds they're thinking there's still 37 kilometres to go. It's still a couple of climbs and up to the finish to go. So as long as he doesn't get too much time, and he won't because we're rolling through, so they're rolling through, getting a bit of rest, keep on rolling through, don't miss a turn. Well, Ben, unfortunately, you can see he's on his own.
As Ben Healy powers along here, we're just getting a little glimpse there of the XDS Astana bike of Taro Tejada. So they're on the X-Lab bikes, Shimano Dura-Ace Components Quark, power meters, Vision wheels, Continental tyres for them, and Pro Logo saddles. We're into the waste zone. If you're tuning into cycling for the first time, don't worry. This is our litter zones because the riders have to get rid of any litter or wrappers or their gel wrappers, energy bar wrappers, or the food, the wrappers that their food is wrapped in by the soigneurs at these points, and it just makes everything easier to clear up for the race organisers to try and make of course, as we need to do, as little impact as possible on the environment. Riders are fined if they, and have been in this Tour de France so far, if they do get rid of their waste outside of those zones.
Working together, I will come back in the climb.
So inside there, interesting. So
that's what I just said. Just keep on rolling through it, and this climb, it tops out with 27 kilometres to go. Just make that effort on the climb, and there's an opportunity to, it's 5 kilometres to the top of it. So, it's a difficult one for Ben Healy. I mean, 5 kilometres from the bottom of it, the climb. So he's not going to have any respite at all. He's sitting there half a minute up. So he's going to go full into it. He'll quite easily, for someone that's just rolling through behind, 2 or 3 riders coming across in that climb can make the big difference.
So there you have it. There's the 5K warning, as Brian said, to the base of our next King of the Mountains of the day. The gap, 35 seconds from Ben Healy to his breakaway companions. 4:34 to the peloton.
It's 3.7 kilometres in length and 4.5 on average. So, you know, it's long enough. You know, Ben Healy's going to need to, if he's getting intention of kind of staying away, he's going to need a minute. Because I think anything less than that, there's going to be a reaction here, and everybody knows that as well. So the 7 riders here, knowing that we get to this climb, that's why they're rolling through and trying to save. They know that somebody's going to have to go to try and go across to them.
What would you feel in this situation? What would you be advising, say, Mathieu van der Poel in this situation? Do you think Van der Poel just needs to try and use up everybody now in this breakaway and try and tempt them into being the ones that are attacking and trying to bring this back? Or do you feel he would be the one that would want to get across here?
Well, I think he's just going to have to follow. I think for Mathieu van der Poel, he knows that the attack's going to come in his climb. So it's a case of following, and that's what he'll have to do. So he'll have to follow rather than react to it. But then again, he might decide to react. He's very astute at knowing what to do, as Mathieu van der Poel. And I think what we are going to see is someone's going to launch in this climb, and it's just a case of, can you go with them?
Let's go and catch up with Jens Vogt.
So, just a little bit of extra information. We just had a 90-degree turn. We are into some straight headwind section. This definitely plays in the card of a strong rider. Ben Healy is very aerodynamic on his road bike. It will play in his favor because behind in the group, people go a little bit off the gas. They don't want to work so hard. So Ben Healy, he is so aero. This is a part where he can really gain even more time on the break, chasing him. Back to you commentators.
Thank you, Jens. And Ben Healy, as all riders do. I mean, this is the thing over the years now. It's the aero helmet on the road. It's the skin suit and everything.
But the 7 riders behind and a headwind, it's harder to stay away. I know he's aerodynamic, but so some of the other riders behind. So, and you've got 7 riders all kind of swapping turns. I just think it's easier to get a gap in a tailwind than it is in a headwind, in my view. So I think that Ben Healy's having to work really hard for this one, aerodynamic or not. He's having to work super hard to get in the time he's got. I reckon he needs, if he wants to stay away over this climb, he needs at least a minute, because we're going to see a reaction behind. And the reaction of the guys that are behind, they're just riding, swapping turns. They're not giving 100% because they're knowing what's going to come. They know that someone's going to try and go across to Ben Healy in this next climb.
It's bold, though, isn't it, going this far out?
But he does this all the time. He's done it to success in other races. This is what Ben Healy does. This is his makeup. We said of all the riders, he's going to be the first to attack. Right? That wasn't rocket. I thought it would be on maybe over the top of the next climb, not this climb, that descent before. So he's doing what we thought he would do, just a little bit earlier. But when we hear Jens, yes, the wind direction, it's not overly strong. It's like 8 to 10 kilometres an hour. But we are predominantly in a headwind all the way in towards the finish now.
We are indeed heading to Via Normandie today, starting in Bayeux. And our breakaway group, Ben Healy sitting 33rd on the general classification at 7 minutes and 37 seconds behind Tadej Pogačar.
The only thing I can think of is he even wanted to surprise us, because if the team cars are listening to our commentary and he said he's going to go at this particular point, he's going early just to surprise the surprise.
I think we'd always love to feel that they're listening to us in the car. I don't think they ever are. The Irishman, twice national champ, is holding 48 seconds to the group behind. And he's making the most of, we were talking earlier on about the cards that you get for the stage. He's making the most of his aero road bars there with a full profile along his bars.
Yeah, look, he's staying in that position. That's very similar. You know, this is a position you can't rest your elbow. This is as close you can get to, you know, a time trial position. So he is resting his arms, but he's connected to his levers because they're slightly bent in. So he's got all that working for him. He's getting closer to the climb. I still think he needs around about a minute to stay away. But the next thing is who's going to join him in the front.
Let's have the UAE team car.
I'm done for the race.
That was Niels.
It was. I was going to say Niels Pollitt. He's done to the right. When that comes up, that's the riders talking. But fair play. I mean, this is. It's. They're incredible riders. The Niels Pollitts of this world that can spend 150k, maybe more on the front, controlling the breakaway.
I tell you what, Marty, I'll let you do the comments for the rest because I'm done for the day. You don't do that in any other job.
That's it.
You don't do that in any other. I'm done for the day. No, yeah, I can totally understand. What I learned in the past is you stay on the front. Even if you're done for the day, you stay on the front. When a team looks up and sees the whole team at the front, that's very impressive. So if you're suffering, you don't just drift back into the back of the peloton. You stay at the front. That's what I was taught.
I'd say he's only gone about 10 riders back at the moment. I think it looked like it from the helicopter. Maybe he'll just go back, have a spot of lunch, and knowing what Niels Pollitt is like, imagine he'll be back up here if he feels a bit like he's recovering. Our leader into the next town as we head towards our climb up to our summit. This is the next climb of the day, the Côte to Saint-Michel to Montjuïc, and it's 3.7 kilometers in length, averaging 4.5%. And Ben Healy of EF Education Easy Post is searching for a stage win. 49 seconds is the gap. This is our penultimate categorized climb of the day. It is King of the Mountains climb, number 5. It is the final of our category 3 climbs along the route.
Did I just see Eddie Dunbar look out a window and check his position out there?
If in doubt, check it out. You know, you just got to take the moment, check out the gun show in the window, haven't you?
Now then, who's going to take this up? Because, it's getting too close to that kind of minute mark. As expected, Mathieu van der Poel kind of forced into it a little bit more than the others.
They've got to, as well, they've been in this breakaway all day. They fought so hard for it. If they don't all keep combining, the stage wins just heading away here. And Quinn Simmons, it looks like, is going to take it up. It looks like that might be Harold Tejada's time done in the perhaps in the breakaway here. He's starting to struggle, the XDS Astana rider. But Quinn Simmons takes it up on the front. Quinn Simmons just as well. First rider from this chasing group to go. Missing a turn.
Yeah, the three of them starting to feel it. I think Dunbar, Tejada not reacting to it. So that pull there, Mathieu van der Poel, well, again, he's been leaned on. He knows he has to kind of keep this going because I said right from the start, I think Mathieu van der Poel was up against this. And now this is what they can't afford. They're just starting to look at each other now. Who's going to pull? Who's the need to commit to this if they want a chance of winning the stage, because they all know that it's, Quinn Simmons has already shown his cards. Someone else is going to have to go, because as soon as Ben Healy hits the minute mark, then
as Will Bartup takes after him here for Movistar. Van der Poel just momentarily sits back. Simon for Visma Lease bike. I feel Van der Poel is just using them at the moment, perhaps playing with them. I think he's going to be the next one to go and perhaps try and close this gap to Healy on his own.
Well, that's if he wants to win the stage. Storer is going across to Quinn Simmons. This is now interesting. If these two get together, which looks as if they will, then they've got a chance. So that little moment of hesitation in the attacks, it's meant that it's down to one. Look at Mathieu van der Poel. He's just setting a rhythm. I think if he had something more, he would have joined Simmons in front, because I think he recognises that Simmons is on a good day today, because it was the two riders that are highlighted way early on in this race. The two riders of the day were Quinn Simmons and Ben Healy, and both of them still up here at the pointy ends.
Michael Storer, 28 years old, 2 stages in the Vuelta in his career. It's already out stages in Healy's gap, 52 seconds. 1.1 kilometres to go to the summit of the climb. But as this goes on, if he can start to nudge that gap to a minute and excess of a minute, the Irishman will start to believe that he can take this one all the way to the finish. Simmons and Storer together. The US national champion for Lidl Trek, like Healy, in multiple breakaways so far today. The helicopter just panning back here to the group now of Mathieu van der Poel. The peloton are at 5:32 to our leader, Mathieu van der Poel, starting the day at 1:28 on general classification. But Simmons, so strong today, Captain America. He's going to need Michael Storer's full power here to get across to Ben Healy. 20 seconds over the group of Van der Poel.
Yeah, I think this could be, the scenario now. Great ride so far by Ben Healy, but it's now 2 against 1, and this is what they're waiting for. 2 or 3 riders are said 3 riders would have been better because Simmons and Michael Storer. It's 49 seconds. If they have got, that communication between them, because in this scenario you have to say, well, we're fighting for second and third here. So the only way that we're going to get a stage win is if we get across to Ben Healy, and we have to come out as equal as each other. So there's still 27 kilometres to go, but I've just got that feeling that Ben Healy might be taking this one.
Is he looking good? The summit of the Category 3 climb goes to the Irishman, but it's the stage win that Ben Healy is chasing here. Listen to the roar. Look at the size of the crowds who have come out here in force today. And it is the Irishman that's chasing his first Tour de France stage victory. Behind him, it is US national champion Quinn Simmons and Michael Storer, who sit at 50 seconds. It's 1:17 now. Back to Mathieu van der Poel, the big outright favourite for the stage today, but also here looking and riding himself back into the yellow jersey of race leader in this Tour de France. Simmons looks strong there, Brian, Quinn Simmons, but they're going to need full commitment here. It's still going to be a tall order to pull back Ben Healy.
Yeah, I think it is. It's going to be very difficult, and he's ridden super well today, targeted this stage, and hasn't kind of really missed anything. But I think for Mathieu van der Poel, it was always going to be a big task for him. A big target on his back. He's thought about yellow more than the stage win. It's just become too big a task. Simon Yates here, they're still all together, but I think the firepower is up the road. It was on this climb. If you had the legs, you had to do something. We come over the top now. It did come down to 45. Now it's up to 53, 52. Storer and Quinn Simmons, what have they got against this man here?
So we've got decent descending. We've got a little kicker that comes with around 12.8 kilometers to go, and we will start our final categorized climb with around 5.5 kilometers to go. But Ben Healy, is he going to take his first stage of the Tour de France?
Nutline. Cumpără Nutline și poți câștiga 100 de euro pe oră sau marele premiu, 10.000 de euro. Înscrie-te pe nutline.ro și relaxează-te. Ai de câștigat.
When you invest with eToro, you start seeing investors everywhere.
You see, eToro really is everywhere. Invest anytime, anywhere with eToro.
We are the ones who wake up at dawn. We are the ones who prepare obsessively. We are the ones who always add an extra kilometer, never less. We are the ones who conquer impossible hills. We are the ones who, following one ride, eagerly dive into the next. We are Imatra, introducing the first ever native digital counting coin, created especially for cyclists. Kilometer. Imatra is Garmin connected.
Got a bike? Then it's ready to Zwift. Grab a Zwift Ready trainer with Zwift Cog. It's ready for everyone. Even this guy. Zwift Ready trainers with Zwift Cog. Ready to ride and ready to Zwift.
They're cracking ahead. This is your chance. Take it. This is what we train for. Now show them who you are.
Well, it's stagnant at 52, 53 seconds. Where are they going to find that? Because it looks as if Ben Healy is riding as strong as they are riding behind. So I can't see any other scenario, Marty, that Ben Healy, the Irishman, is going to win the stage.
Healy, full commitment, as you can imagine here. You can see how much prep had gone into an attempt at a breakaway today. Healy, hand up, looking for his team car. His gap is almost a minute here. So the car will come up to him. We'll have the car behind. Here he comes up to him. So Charlie Regalis and Andreas Clear are the two director sportifs for the EF Education Easy Post. And celebrating Leclerc, the supermarket, and the 50 years of the Maillot à Pois, so the King of the Mountains jersey. There's a shower for Ben Healy at the front.
It's always difficult to do that. It's always difficult to do that. You're probably better squirting it.
It is stage 6 of the Tour de France, and Ben Healy of EF Education Easy Post solo here. 54 seconds he is holding over the chasing group behind, which contains the Maillot Jaune virtual on the road in Mathieu van der Poel, the yellow jersey going into today, Tadej Pogacar leading Remco Evenepoel by 42 seconds, Kevin Vauquelin third at 59 seconds, Jonas Vingegaard at 1:13 in fourth position. Mathieu van der Poel said at the beginning of the day that a stage win and trying to get back into the yellow jersey was his objective of the day. Breakaway, sprint, the scenarios that were bandied around at the start of today all said Mathieu van der Poel would be a favourite for the stage. If it came down to a sprint, Tadej Pogacar as well. We've been loving the explosive finishes between Van der Poel and Pogacar throughout the season and in this year's Tour de France. But this man here has had other ideas throughout the stage today. Ben Healy was totally focused on getting into the breakaway group and going for this team. This is the perfect scenario for them. And Ben Healy, you got to say, Brian, you know, he's one of those riders as well that's kind of blazed his own trail to the top of pro cycling.
No, he definitely has. I was just looking at the current situation there. Evenepoel started at 42 seconds behind. So that would mean that 6:55 sitting at it. He needs 55 seconds to take that white jersey.
Come on. You're super strong, super strong. Come on.
We love a come on, on the radio.
Yeah,
come on, Here we go, Michael Storer.
It's not happening for them. Not happening at all. They can come on as much as they like, but you know, the surprise going with just over 42 kilometres ago, and it's not just going there. It's the way he went. He just went poof, and he was gone. And Simon Yates was in the front, and he was like, just what happened there? You know what I mean? This he just shot off the front and gave nobody any chance of getting on the wheel. And we know that this is what he does. This is what he's got in his locker. So it was no surprise he was going to go at some point. But to go there, take some balls, and we know he's got plenty of that. And it's just everything, the whole makeup, you know, from the socks, the position, the helmet, the way he's riding now. He's riding not only to the stage win, but if he can push out a little bit more, he could have a white jersey as well.
And that would be some ride. He's known for his daring attacks, and it doesn't come more daring than this. Ben Healy, the Irish rider, is charging a clear, and 105. He is taking time on that chasing group, that chasing duo of Quinn Simmons and Michael Storer, and they are full sails to the wind as well behind them. 140 to Mathieu van der Poel's group, who is having to lead this group. Hal Tejada, Simon Yates, Eddie Dunbar, and Will Barter, that chasing group. Then 6 minutes and 9 seconds to the group of the Maillot Jaune 114 riders. It probably is now without Niels Pollitt in that chasing group behind. But this group, when you looked at the make of this group, and they know what Ben Healy's like, and it was the way he just read that road. It was opportunistic. It was almost, you could see, instinctive in the way that he launched it. Just looked for that launch pad that he needed, and it's where everyone how Ben Healy approaches racing. It's when everyone is least expecting it is when he does exactly what they're expecting him to do.
No, it's been a cracking stage. It's not finished yet. Potentially, we just need another 45 seconds for Ben Healy, 44 seconds. Potentially, this stage, all jerseys could be changing hands.
Indeed. So Ben Healy currently 13th in the Best Young Riders classification. Remco Evenepoel leading that competition. So Ben Healy 3 minutes and 36 seconds behind Remco Evenepoel in that white jersey. Brian's the mathematician of the duo, so I will keep that. We'll keep that up to date and what's going on. I'm going to correct that. So he's at 6:55. Sorry, I was looking at my wrong column there, Brian. Brian's just given me a punch in my arm. So Ben Healy 6:55 in 9th position. So Brian will keep an eye on on our maths there. So we're keeping a close eye on your top screen for you fans there. 6:11 at the moment. So some time to make up the team of the DS alongside Mathieu van der Poel, starting the day at 1 minute and 28. There's our duo of chasers in the top of your screen, Quinn Simmons and Michael Storer. But what a day this has been in the Tour de France. 201.5 kilometers, 5.2 kilometers of neutral, and just a little chat here alongside Mathieu van der Poel. What does he do now? Has he just got to be content that he's riding towards the yellow jersey? Is there anything that he can do now at a minute 49?
No, he's just committed to yellow now. Take it by as much as he can. If he takes it by this sort of margin, then you have to consider that he could possibly take it all the way to the rest day. Big ask, but possibly. But then again, you've got the others, and you have to try and encourage. And I think that's why they're trying to give bottles and kind of help the other riders in the group there, because they need them to roll through, of course.
In the way they can approach the race.
Yeah, but you'd assume that Richard could be up there in the general classification. Would Ben Healy be given a chance? I think he's still given that chance, but look at the headwind he's riding into. No way this is easier for him. No way into a headwind. Doesn't matter how aerial he is. We've got multiple riders behind. Surely they're getting a bit of a rest from time to time. They should be able to, but it just goes to show you that 1.5 minutes now, and he's only 30 seconds away from the white jersey. Be interesting to see if Remco Evenepoel wants to keep a hold of that jersey or not.
It'd be great to see Ben Healy in the white jersey if he can take the win in this and pull back and get into that white jersey as the best young rider. What a rider. 15 kilometers to go for Ben Healy, and he is just taking time on everyone behind him. 1 minute and 30 seconds to the chasers of Quinn Simmons and Michael Storer. 1 minute and 56 seconds to the group of Mathieu van der Poel, the big favourite for today's stage. 6 minutes and 25 seconds to the peloton. If they start to ease up within the final 10 kilometres, knowing that the stage and yellow jersey are going, can Ben Healy pull out enough time, as Brian Smith said, to ride himself into the white jersey as the best young rider in this year's Tour de France?
And I think, Marty, just talking about the white jersey, I think we're in our 50th anniversary for that one as well, because in 1975 starts the year that Bernard Thévenet beat Merckx. They had three major changes. One was the King of the Mountains jersey, the polka dot jersey. One was the finish in the Champs-Élysées, and I think the third one was the introduction of the best young riders jersey, the white jersey.
Yeah, and it's always been one of the most interesting competitions to watch, isn't it? The white jersey and the best young riders classification, where in any race, because it is in a way in the last sort of however many years, when you've got, how young Tadej Pogačar started winning this. In essence,
try to say that to Pogačar. There's a lot of young riders around, so even at Evenepoel as well. They're already kind of wearing the white jersey and getting on the podium and winning the Tour de France. Pogačar was in white when he won the Tour de France for the first time, beating Roglic in the Plateau de Bay. So yeah, it's look, I think first and foremost, if you're in the car, it's about making sure that you cross off the final 12.6 kilometres. You get that stage win. But I think there's some undercurrent here. He's 20 seconds off it. You have to say, look, you're within sight of the white jersey. I don't think he's going to get 7:37 back for yellow. But I think definitely the white jersey is possible. And that's what you have to say. To have a competition jersey in the Tour de France is something to behold. We've already seen that, for Tim Wellens in the King of the Mountains jersey. So this will be added inspiration and motivation for Ben Healy. He only needs another 20 seconds. Well, saying that, he only really needs another 10 seconds because he's going to get 10 seconds at the finishing line.
Yeah, what a ride he is putting in here. And he is going to join a fairly famous list of Irish stage winners in the Tour de France. Sam Bennett, the last one for Ireland, last stage winner, I feel, in the Tour de France for Ireland, 2020. So he's, what a list. Martin Early, Shay Elliott, Sean Kelly, Dan Martin, Stephen Roach, throughout history for Ireland. You can see the national champions stripes on the cuffs of his jersey. Grew up in Birmingham, in England, did Ben Healy, moving across as he could to race for Ireland and represent Ireland. And what a find for them, 142 back to Storer and Simmons. And it just showed that they had to be with Ben Healy when he went. The aerial shot here of our chasers. Yates, Barter, Van der Poel, Tejada and Dunbar, the other Irishmen in this group. Two Irish representatives in this group here. The other man there in the purple and grey colours. 6 minutes and 43 seconds now is the gap. So Ben Healy starting the day 33rd at 7:37. The green jersey is 21 minutes and 43 seconds down. Mathieu Van der Poel starting the day in 6th spot at 1 minute and 28 to Tadej Pogačar. 10.5 kilometers to go. You can see today how the toll that it has taken on the riders here in the Tour de France. The Côte de Vaudreuil will be our final categorized climb of the day. And then we have our climb up to the finish. 700 meters is the climb in Via Normandy, maxing out its averages 10.2%, maxing out at 15%. And we said when he went, as he goes through, 10 kilometers to go now for Ben Healy. It was that said, it could be the first attack that wins it. And Ben Healy, with 10 kilometers to go, looks like he is going to prove that right here for EF Education Easy Post. And he's now driving this gap out. I mean, the gap here, Brian, to nearly 2 minutes to the chasers. I mean, this has been just a remarkable time Tour de France performance from Ben Healy. It's still 9.5 kilometers to go. Mathieu Van der Poel will start to get a little bit worried about, this 10 gap. But, Mathieu Van der Poel is going to take the yellow jersey. But, yeah, it's been phenomenal the way he's ridden. Healy. The daring attacks that we know he always puts in search of his victories in his career. What is going through Mathieu Van der Poel's mind here as well in this chase? So looking at the run-in towards the finish as well. We run in towards Via Normandie, and it's almost a bit of a loop that we do back to the point where we turn left. So you'll have a bit of crosswind, and then so we go right turn ahead for Ben Healy, then we'll swing left through La Molière. He'll have a bit of a headwind as he sweeps, and he'll have a tailwind up the final categorized climb of the day. And then, luckily for him, a bit of a tailwind up towards the finish in Via Normandie. But Storer and Simmons have not missed a beat in this chase of Ben Healy, which also makes this ride remarkable in this one, because they have been full commitment to this chase of the Irishman. Simmons looking back over the shoulder, and he goes alone. Storer reacts though from Quinn Simmons. So these two I think they might get swept up before the finish.
That's why he looked around there, didn't he? Took a long route behind Quinn Simmons and thought, right, this is going to be my best finishing a Tour de France stage. I don't want to be caught, so just acceleration now. And then Storer's going, no, I'm not riding with you if you're going to continue to do that. They have to bury the hatchet here if they want to finish second and third in the stage. I know it's slim pickings, but it's Tour de France, of course. I think most people would want to kind of finish second or third rather than maybe eighth in the stage.
The board showing Ben Healy what his gaps are. 2 minutes to the chasers, 2:41 to the group of Mathieu van der Poel, 6:51 back to the group of the Maillot Jaune. And we've heard throughout the day that in terms of the Tour de France and the long game in this one, the yellow jersey could move across to someone like Mathieu van der Poel, a member of our breakaway group. Tadej Pogacar, confident as you would expect from the world champion, in that the battles in this Tour de France are going to come. The real big battles in the high mountains. But it's all about, this is what the Tour de France is all about today. Attacks from riders such as Ben Healy from Ireland, getting into the breakaway, and he with this man here in the Stars and Stripes national champs jersey of the USA. They made multiple attempts to try and get away earlier on today in what has been will have been when we get to the finish.
Guys, almost 50 kilometers na 5 kilometers get ትወርዳለህ فرصة لايك نقدر شخصنا تواسك كسابزا توتا تودا عشان ندايما وداي كابان وداي سندانا ناقبرنا يلا guys تحقق سبسكرايب كا أبتدي تتنقطع فرصة توم سبسكرايب نقدرنا سبسكرايب نقدر لايك بنقدر كمان شخصنا ندايما فرصة ما نستوعب.
Well, it's kind of the last obstacle because the last part of the course today is 700 meters at 10.2%, so it's a bit of a real kick up towards the finish. But just keep an eye on that time. Sometimes, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is what he's like. Pogacar has a wee dig in this final climb, just to maybe take a second or two, because the time is taken on the line.
Final categorized climb of the day. It's a category 4 climb, so just 1 point on offer at the top for the Irishman. 803 meters to go to the top, and then it will be a descent around to loop up towards the start, to the finish of today's stage, but have never got close in this one today. Their gap just a touch around that 40-second mark for them. A lot of chat going on between Quinn Simmons and Michael Storer. But here they through. 5 kilometers to go now for the finish. What a day it has been. We started out with the battle for the points in the green jersey with 179.3 kilometers to go. Jonathan Milan taking that ahead of Mathieu van der Poel and Bini Gamai, the first categorized climb of the day. Quinn Simmons taking that ahead of Mark Hirschi. There was an attack by Quinn Simmons and Ben Healy. That was brought back. Then we had the climb of the Côte de la Raconnière with Tim Wellens taking maximum points over the top of that. The breakaways. We've had Wout van Aert and Pablo Castrillo going clear, but the big break of the day, Ben Healy, Mathieu van der Poel, Harold Tejada, Will Barter, Quinn Simmons, Eddie Dunbar, Simon Yates and Michael Storer. The gap, it took a long time to become established. Even with 103 kilometers to go, they still only had 49 seconds over the peloton. And then the search for the yellow jersey for Mathieu van der Poel, who gave it passed onto the shoulders of Tadej Pogacar yesterday, coming into today, 1 minute and 28 seconds down on the yellow jersey. But an audacious, daring attack here by Ben Healy with over 40 kilometers of the stage to go. And he is now driving here into what will be another phenomenal victory in the career of the Irishman. He has got time to spare here, but if he gets a nod, Brian, he's got to make every second count if he wants as well. He's getting the 10-second time bonus on the line. Hopefully they give him the nod that he's also chasing seconds for the white jersey.
Yeah, he's not easing up. He's giving it full throttle here, and he knows the team have already told him that he's 10 seconds to the best for the white jersey, and that's why he's gritting his teeth. With 4 kilometers to go, right, you can afford to relax a little bit. He's not. He's pushing hard, not just for the first stage win in the Tour de France, but also for that white jersey.
Ben Healy, 24 years old here in Normandy, and we look back and on the climb under the pressure here, Mathieu van der Poel starting to lose contact under the pressure there of Will Barter. Ben Healy is pushing this course every last millimetre, takes a glance back on the corner. It's quite a distance between himself and the chasers, but Brian van der Poel in difficulty.
Yep. No surprise again. He's gone to the limit. He's been pushed. He's been lent on a little bit, and he has to. All he's thinking about is yellow. I did say going into this final he would have a target, but all he's thinking about is yellow.
It's all about the hunt for the maillot jaune. And Storer attacks Quinn Simmons on the climb. He already attacked Michael Storer. And now this right turn at the top. Simmons battles back. So this battle here for the podium between Quinn Simmons and Michael Storer. They look back, they're losing. Got an issue at the back here.
Skelmos.
Yeah, Skelmos. Bike change for the Lidl Trek rider. 2 kilometers to go for Ben Healy. And he's still got our final climb of the day ahead of him. There's a moment here of calm where the crowds are sparse, and this is the moment here, Brian, as well, where you're kind of alone with your thoughts before he lines up for the final climb up to the finish.
I don't think he's really kind of thinking about that. Knowing Ben Healy, I think he's just focusing on just keep going, just give 100%. He already knows he's got the stage win, but just watch him in this final up to the climb into his radio. He knows he has to keep on going. If he wants that white jersey, it's full to the line.
If Ben Healy was full gas before, we know that he'll go all in now. The Irishman, 1.1 kilometres to go. The final climb, 700 metres, 10.2% average, maxing out at 15%, 2:23. The gap to the chasers, the stage win is his. The group of Van der Poel now at 3:32 in 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Back to the group of the yellow jersey. He now starts the climb. Ben Healy is about to go double figures on his pro wins. He's bold, he's daring, but this is up there, as I'd say, the most daring one yet. He's just now on these slopes, shifts through the gears here as he takes in these big punishing slopes here. 11%, 500 meters to go to the finish line. This is what we love about Ben Healy. This, the Irishman, is a ride that we are going to remember, as he will, for many, many years. It's going to be 10 pro wins and a first Tour de France stage win for the Irishman. Bold, daring. This has been a big day out. 201.5 kilometers, 3,550 meters of elevation. It is the Irishman, Ben Healy, that comes to the top here in Viva Normandy. He conquers what has been one of the most savage, punishing days in the Tour de France, and we're only on stage 6. Irish eyes will be smiling this evening, and it is going to be a victory, the first of this year's Tour de France for the EF Education Easy Post team. You've got to say, Ben Healy is going to be able to take a huge bow when he gets to the top of the climb. He sees the finish line ahead of him. Absolutely phenomenal ride today. He threw down the challenge to Grand Tour winners and former world champions, but it is Ben Healy that takes the stage here in Viva Normandy, and the clock will start ticking. Will he manage to take the white jersey as the best young rider? Brian, what a phenomenal stage win.
Yeah, cracker of a stage, cracker of a winner, and, well executed in the end. Caught everybody in the hop, but had the power to deliver. And it's just a matter of time now. We just have to watch the clock. Stage win in the bag, but can he get a competition jersey? That would be the icing on the cake.
Here we come up towards the finish. Quinn Simmons, Michael Storer. What a day for Ben Healy and the EF Education Easy Post team. Absolutely stunning win for the Irishman today. And he deserves that. He has been in the action all day long, as has the man in the Stars and Stripes jersey here, Quinn Simmons. And he said it himself, Brian, when he had this jersey before, he just didn't have the form to do it justice. He's certainly doing this jersey justice this year.
Yeah, all the riders in the breakaway have done well today. It was the key moment when it went. That was the hardest part of the stage. A lot of riders, I think we had 50, 60 riders thinking about trying to get in the breakaway. Of course, had to be the strongest ones that did, and it was a very strong breakaway, and it blew apart in the last kind of 40-odd kilometres because they were chasing that victory. Only one person can win, and that was the Irishman, Ben Healy. But, equally, I thought Quinn Simmons rode a great race today. Just came up a little bit short. Himself and Ben Healy were always there. Nice to see Michael Storer up there. Came in here possibly looking at the GC. Lost a little bit of time, but you know, he's fought back today to finish in the top 3 today.
Quinn Simmons and Michael Storer, they're going to sprint it out here for the podium places, 2nd and 3rd on the stage, but it also shows just how tough this finish is. Storer launches his sprint for the line here for Tudor Pro Cycling. Quinn Simmons, he'll want the 2nd place on the stage, snaking left and right. Storer went long. Quinn Simmons comes past. It looks like it's going to be 2nd for Captain America at the finish as Quinn Simmons looks back over the shoulder. What a battle today. It is 2nd place for the little Trek man. Did everything he could today to try and take the stage win. It's 2nd, 3rd for Michael Storer, and then Eddie Dunbar just sprinting it out here ahead of Will Barter and Simon Yates. Another good day out here for Eddie Dunbar in the break, and it just was, he took Ben Healy, just took everyone by surprise with that attack. Eddie Dunbar had looked super strong on some of the King of the Mountains points. Simon Yates getting into the breakaway group, one of the last riders to arrive in the breakaway. So 4th for Dunbar, 5th for Yates, Barter. Then we look for Mathieu van der Poel in the time and the gap across the line. So 3:33 down. It has been a tough day out for Mathieu van der Poel today. Haddock to Haddock, up towards the line. Look at the face of Van der Poel here, Brian. This has been a big day out for him.
Yeah, huge faith for everybody. You know, 8 riders in the breakaway, and a lot of people are thinking that Mathieu van der Poel might be winning the stage. Ends up in, 8th place there. Absolutely spent, but he'll be on the podium for yellow.
Job done in his battle for the Maillot Jaune. The peloton behind, they are on the climb. Tadej Pogačar, Jonas Vingegaard here. They are going to give it a bit of a nudge in the general classification riders. Remco Evenepoel, Oscar Only, Kevin Vauquelin. Lipovitz moving up at the bottom of your picture. Tej Benoot's coming through. And they've closed the gap down as we head in towards the finish. A look around, Pogačar, Vingegaard there, Lipovitz moves up. We'll look at the time on the clock when they cross the line. Lipovitz out of the saddle, Vauquelin is there, poised and ready. Pogačar, Only. Jonas Vingegaard in the background, just latched himself now onto the wheel of Tadej Pogačar. Oscar Only, as Matteo Jorgensen now launches the move up towards the line here for Team Visma Lease Bike. Tadej Pogačar takes it up, Pogačar accelerates, Vingegaard has got to go with him here as Pogačar comes home and crosses the line there at 5:27. So we'll keep an eye on all of the clocks here. The Maillot Jaune coming in. Just yellow jersey for Mathieu.
Yep.
And only just they pulled it back really tight there at the end, didn't they?
No white jersey for Ben Healy, unfortunately.
We didn't get to see how much they were accelerating over the course of the final kilometers there. We'll bring you all of those momentarily.
I've got on if that is, they're closing by 1 second.
Yeah, it looks like it could be 1 second that Mathieu van der Poel has taken back the yellow jersey from Tadej Pogačar. I think he thought he was going to have it by a lot more than that throughout today's stage, but it shows just what a tough day it was today for Van der Poel. still just trying to cool down here at the finish. As you can imagine, it has been a hot day out there. So we'll look down through our various classifications. The maillot jaune is going to change hands, but it's not by much. Points as well. We'll pass to Jonathan Milan. What a day, what a ride, what a stage win. Ben Healy wins it for Ireland and EF Education Easy Post. Quinn Simmons in second place. Michael Storer with Dunbar, Yates, Barta, Haddock, Van der Poel, Pogacar and Vingegaard, your top 10. What a day. What can you say about that? That was an absolute stunner. As you said, Brian, it could be the first rider that went from that break that got it, and he did.
Sometimes, I've seen it happen in the past. Sometimes, they start looking at each other. They didn't really. I think it was just the strongest man won in the day today. They were all riding through and off behind. This is the man that he must have thought, yeah, got this quite easily. He comes across the line, and all of a sudden we were talking about the peloton behind at the bottom of the climb, and I was starting to do the maths again. I'm thinking, what time did he come across? Where was Pogacar? He wasn't kind of pushing it like he normally does. He just rolls over the line, and that rolling over the line, that 1 second.
Guys, بتعرف نسبق وعدنا تعرف بس قبل تبع كم زمان يومي بسلامة تغيروا يراتبنا ثم دكز كذا ديكم كلهم دكز كذا هون سبسكرايب تقولوا زي فيديو دايركت اللي تمسس كم سبلناكم البوكايت بداي أنسيز ترى هذا كنت تقولوا so أتمنى نصور فيديو ترى دقتنا دقت دورنا على دي لايك نقولكم كومنت تسمعوا تتابعونا كل أبزي ناي سايكل بسقولوا لجزء كن فيديو دايركت اللي نقولكم سوري انتو اجدات تجينا كن الله هذا مينا ما دي دايركتلي زمان سلام بكم يا دلو so بتعني دمسكنا هنا thank you guys ጉዳይ ሱንዶ እንዳቀጸለይ ግሬትነስ ራሄልን አቦታ ኮሜንት ንቁርብ ነርቦኩ ሚና ማሐደ ሰዓት ዝኹም ትሪዩ ግን ተላዋውጡ ሚኪ ዘዲብ ገዲፍ አታኸዳ see you guys thank you.
It was not really a race for me today, I think, actually. But the legs are starting to feel better, so hopefully that's a good sign for the rest of the race.
Very easy to say that Healy, well, he's obviously going to go with 40 kilometres to go, because he always does, but it's another thing to stop him, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's quite impressive. It's not the first time he's done that. And, yeah, it was a bit of maybe a trademark move, actually, because he went in really in nothing place, actually, but there was some hesitation behind, and that was it, really.
And just on the tactics, we wondered whether you guys might try to keep Tadej in yellow today. Obviously, you chose to put someone in a break instead. Just tell us the logic behind that.
Like I said, we just wanted to be there. And that's it, to be honest. I was the one who made it. Yeah, nothing else to say, really.
Simon Yates in the breakaway. Ben Healy is your stage winner. What a day. We're going to leave you in the hands of Jonathan Harris-Bass, Brian Smith and myself, Mike McDonald. We'll see you tomorrow. Over to you, Jono.
Thank you very much, Marty and Brian. Have a rest after that. Well, what a win it was for this man. Ben Healy with his maiden victory in the Tour de France. First win for Ireland for 5 years in the Tour as well, taking his pro-win tally to 10, and it's his second of the Grand Tour. That first one coming into Rossombrone in the Giro d'Italia back in 2023, stage 8, and the applause from EF Education Easy Post teammates as well, because of the importance of just getting that first stage win. It allows a team to really relax into the rest of the Tour. Via Normandie, home and birthplace of Thierry Gouvenou, our course designer.
Ben Healy, it's a fairy tale. You've just won a stage of the Tour de France. What's it mean for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's, really what I've worked all for, like, not just this year, just the whole time, it's really, really incredible. And, just hours and hours of hard work from so many people, and to pay them back today, just, really, really amazing.
Because you had already won a stage of the Giro d'Italia a couple of years ago. Did you feel that you had what it took to win on the greatest race, on the greatest stage of the world?
Yeah, I think last year was a real eye-opener, and really made me believe that I could do it. And just knuckled down and did the hard work, and tried to refine my racing style as well. Just lots of race footage watched, and really paid off today, I think.
Today, how did it did it play out? It was a crazy start, crazy pace from start to finish, and you fought to get to be in that breakaway. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, I just switched on from the start, and maybe I spent a bit too much trying to get into the break, but I think that's just the way I do it. And once it was in there, we really had to work for that gap, and it was just on the pedals all day. And I knew I needed to get away from the group and pick my moment, and I think I timed it well, and hopefully caught them by surprise a little bit. And I knew what I had to do, just head down and do my best right to the finish.
It was a perfect kind of profile. It was best on today.
Yeah, exactly. And it suited me directly down to the ground. So this was a stage I circled in the book from the start, and to do it on the first one is really, really amazing.
This is what you've always been dreaming of, to win a stage on the Tour de France. This is what you were thinking about when you were a kid with your dad, and you started riding on a velodrome.
Yeah, 100%. Just grew up watching the Tour, and one day wishing that I could maybe even be there. So to even be here is an achievement, and now to win the stage is just it's just so amazing.
The only disappointment is that this could be an amazing episode of a Netflix series with your boss in his bus waiting and enjoying the moment.
Yeah, maybe I can stitch it into last year. I got the cut, so oh well. It's not the end of the world. I think just winning the stage, that's what is most important to me.
And enjoy the podium. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, he is going to enjoy the podium. It is going to be an emotional time. Wasn't the only Irishman inside the top four today. Ben Healy obviously winning the stage, but we also had Eddie Dunbar from Jaco Alula in fourth place, and I think we're going to go and hear from Eddie in just a second. Really good ride from him as well. Quinn Simmons and Stora coming over the line. Then it was Eddie.
Eddie, I chatted to you at the start. You said you were going to get into the break. You got into the break. That was an A-class breakaway, mate. How did it go for you? That looked brutal.
It was brutal. We didn't ease up once. The peloton just kept going. They wouldn't leave it go. And even when the peloton did crack, we just kept going full. It was an incredibly strong breakaway. Everyone pretty much done their fair share. Incredible ride by Ben there. How he got 2.5 minutes, I have no idea. But chapeau to him. Tired. Really tired, yeah.
When Ben went, it was a really fast attack. So Simon tried to chase, then you, but there was no way getting him back by the looks of things.
No, he got the jump. And once he got that 10 seconds, everyone knows what Ben can do. I actually thought he would do that. But when you're in a situation, it's funny when you watch it, sometimes you think, why doesn't someone go with him? You just can't, and that's just the way it goes. But that was a big day today, and
it's nice to be fighting for a win, but yeah, it's always disappointing when you have a chance to win a stage of the Tour and you just come up short.
But finally, you must be happy with your condition. Getting a move like that, because it was hard fought for, must give you hope for the next few stages coming up, which are quite similar.
Yeah, I think I'll need a bit of an easier day tomorrow, but it's really good sign. I know I came into this race in really good condition, and hopefully I can get a chance to get up the road again.
Thank you.
Well, cracking performance from Eddie Dunbar. A really amazing performance from everyone who made it into the breakaway, because, as Eddie Dunbar was saying there, over 100 kilometres it took for the breakaway really to form.